Did you know that retail campaigns using 3 or more distinct marketing channels earn a 287% higher purchase rate than single-channel campaigns? Yeah, that is a staggering difference, and it's exactly why we're diving into this today. Welcome back to The Explainer. If you're looking to streamline your strategies, escape that dreaded algorithm trap, and get straight to the bottom line, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're unpacking omni-channel conversion mastery. We're moving way past those high-level buzzwords to look at the actual granular methodology required to stop chasing vanity metrics and start building a resilient multi-channel revenue engine. So let's just jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this, because the overarching promise of this entire approach boils down to a super bold statement: finding a marketing channel that actually works. Think about how common it is to see a brand launch this massive, highly produced campaign on TikTok or Instagram, rack up millions of views, and then crickets. Literally zero bump in their actual revenue. With customer acquisition costs skyrocketing across major networks and ad fatigue basically at an all-time high, working just doesn't mean getting eyeballs anymore. It means generating tangible, predictable revenue. This strategy focuses ruthlessly on cutting through all that noise to build pipelines that actually convert.
Which brings us to a massive foundational question you really need to ask yourself right now. Are you limiting your sales to just social media? You know, it's such an easy trap to fall into. You might have 100,000 followers showering your posts with likes, shares, and fire emojis. But if organic reach is throttled to barely 2% by the algorithm, and your actual cart checkout rates are abysmal, well, those followers are just a vanity metric. Treating social media platforms as the absolute boundary of your entire sales ecosystem is literally the primary hurdle keeping businesses stagnant today.
All right, that takes us to Section 1, Beyond Social Media Limits. Let's talk about breaking out of that box.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the clear contrast it shows. The danger of that old, limiting social media way of thinking is that you're building your entire business on a single point of failure. If an algorithm changes overnight or a platform goes down completely, a single-pillar strategy just crumbles. So the necessary shift is moving towards selling in different channels. This means building a diversified foundation. It means leveraging SMS marketing, which, by the way, boasts a 98% open rate for urgent flash sales. It means utilizing automated email flows for long-term customer nurturing, deploying search engine retargeting to capture high-intent buyers, and even integrating direct mail for high-ticket items. It's all about stability through diversification.
So, let's define exactly what this shift looks like in practice. Omnichannel conversion mastery is the practice of learning how to sell across multiple, different channels rather than relying on just one. The absolutely crucial distinction here is that word sell. The goal is not to simply copy-paste identical content across 5 different apps or just exist on a new platform so you can put their icon on your website footer. No, it is an active, revenue-focused expansion. Every single new channel you adopt must have a specific, measurable mechanism to drive a sale. Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds into your actual engagement methodology. Because once you have those different channels set up, the real mechanics come into play. You need a distinct methodology to engage with participants. Look, just blasting the exact same generic promotional message across email, SMS, and display ads, that's just creating digital noise. A true methodology relies on calculated behavioral triggers. For instance, if a user clicks a specific link about running shoes in an email, the methodology dictates they don't just get a generic brand text later. Instead, they get an SMS specifically about those running shoes, maybe an hour after they abandon their cart, followed by a value-add email about running techniques a couple of days later. It's a highly systematic, deeply personalized approach to engagement. So, what actually happens when we apply a rigid, calculated methodology to engagement? Why go through all the effort of mapping out these hyper-specific behavioral touchpoints? What actually bridges the gap between simply capturing someone's attention across varied platforms and moving the needle for your business? Well, it's because engagement, even highly personalized engagement, is not the finish line.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, Converting Engagement to Sales. This is the final pivotal step.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact sequence you need. It's simple, but absolutely vital. Step 1, you expand and learn to sell in different channels, breaking right out of that restrictive social media box. Step 2, you apply that distinct, trigger-based methodology to engage with participants exactly where they're most responsive. And then Step 3, you convert that engagement into sales.
The real beauty of this sequence is that when your engagement is timed and personalized in step 2, it naturally removes friction. It builds trust incrementally, so by the time you ask for the sale in step 3, it doesn't feel like an intrusive pitch. It just feels like a natural next step for the customer.
So the crucial point is right here. You must convert engagement to sales. This is your ultimate conversion engine. If you've got diversified channels and fantastic engagement metrics, let's say incredibly high open rates on your emails or thousands of replies to a campaign, but you lack the physical mechanism to turn that interaction into revenue, your system is fundamentally broken. This requires optimizing the actual point of sale. We're talking frictionless, mobile-optimized landing pages, implementing one-click checkout options like Shop Pay or Apple Pay, and utilizing clear, irresistible calls to action that turn a warmed-up lead into a confirmed paying buyer.
The ultimate philosophy here boils down to this one interconnected truth from our source material. You must employ a methodology to engage with participants to convert engagement to sales. It is a continuous, unbroken loop. The interaction doesn't just exist for its own sake. It certainly doesn't exist just to build brand awareness in a vacuum. Every single touchpoint across every single channel exists entirely to guide the user toward conversion. And honestly, that is the true mastery of an omnichannel approach.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty urgent question to consider. Are your current channels truly working to convert engagement into sales? Take a hard, honest look at your current marketing stack right now. Are you trapped by the limits of social media, leaving massive amounts of revenue on the table because you're relying on a single algorithm? Are you capturing attention, but maybe failing to use a structured methodology? Or do you finally have the mechanisms in place to successfully drive your audience through to that final sale? I really hope this explainer has given you the granular, actionable insights you need to elevate your strategy. Thanks for joining me today. Keep optimizing those conversions, and I'll see you next time.